Everybody, welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. Did I screw up? Find out on the other side.
By gum, Captain. All the latest home videos in beta and VHS.
Aye, so current, they're still in theatrical release.
Help yourself, mates. A chest full of video discs.
No!
Oh, what good are they? Can't record on them.
They're not compatible with my system.
Captain, this was lost.
Stand back.
Open up.
Gather around, my buckos, and feast your eyes on this. Make all the illegal copies you want. Put it on.
Aye, Captain.
Oh, I'm so scared.
Mom! Jenny ate my corn on the cob!
No, I didn't. He's lying.
Now, kids. Jenny, why don't you get us dessert?
I love you, little brother.
I love you, sis.
Beautiful kids.
Now, Desmond, you do smoke, ganja at home, don't you?
Oh, yeah, man. We smoke that shit all the time.
Hi, it's John Romita Jr. at San Diego Comic-Con. Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, the best shop in the world, hands down.
That's the TC.
You know, folks, I can do all kinds of farts. I can do little granny farts. Or great big beer drinking truck driver farts. I can fart like a turtle. Or I can fart like an astronaut.
Look, this is just an informal chat. We were wondering what you were working on in your lab.
Well, I've invented a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Right, and what's positive about that?
Well, it's a pill that gives worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, could it also give worms to ex-boyfriends?
This is a drug for the world to give worms to ex-girlfriends.
Well, great. Thanks for stopping by.
You just don't get it here.
So tell me again about the 79 countries.
It's like this. Cartoon Network's the same in those countries as it is here, except for little differences.
Example.
Okay. Know what they call pound puppies in Paris?
They don't call them pound puppies.
Nah, they don't have pounds in France. They have the metric system.
Then what do they call them?
They call them Les Puppies Royale.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, what do they call Smurfs in Spain?
Like a Smurf is a Smurf. They just call them Los Smurfs.
Los Smurfs?
Yeah, and in Morocco mole is just called mole.
Hi. Are your parents forgetting to take their drugs? Mine used to, too. Well, now that they're getting older, they do forget. Some of them have gotten so health conscious they don't even use them. But the truth is, now is when they need them most of all. Running the world is a bitch, and they were totally unprepared for it. So what can you do to make sure they get off every day? Give them these. Colorful, pleasant-tasting Elvis drugs. They make drug-taking fun. And parents love them, so they remind them of someone who shaped their early moral judgments. And we make them in the flavors they used to love best. Cheeseburgers, French fries, cherry Cokes. Here in our Elvis drug labs, our trained researchers discovered a high-potency formula. And then we shaped them like little hound dogs, guitars, and teddy bears. Elvis drugs, all shook uppers, love me tenderizers, and blue suede ludes. Elvis drugs, the fun way for adults to get the drugs they need.
Don't say no to this fantastic offer. Send your entire wallet to yet another Elvis ripoff box, 1 million Old Shap Expressway, Nashville, Tennessee.
Bread, $2 extra.
$2, but everyone in front of me got free bread.
You want bread?
Yes, please.
$3! What? No soup for you.
I'm married to a woman.
These are all my regulars. You strike me as a angry top. I'm clean, but you do have to glove up unless you're down for some frottage.
Frottage?
It's French for rubbing our dicks together.
This is where he every day I'm wearing a necklace like this, and he's in this urn.
Is his ashes?
Yeah, his ashes right here and here. Yep. So both of my grandpas are here.
What's that other thing on the necklace?
It's a Punisher emblem.
What's that about?
I like the Punisher just because he's he takes his the law into his own hands to punish the people that wronged him.
All right, come out or I'll blast you out.
For shame, Doc. Hunting rabbits with an elephant gun.
Elephant gun?
That's right, Doc. So why don't you go shoot yourself an elephant? You do, and I'll give you such a pinch!
We're going to start our volleys. We hope you like the show. Everything is ready. We're raring to go. We'll give you all the latest songs and dances full of pep. We're gonna start with hot shots. Just watch this chorus steps.
Originally settled as Ocean View during the 1850s, the city's population boomed with displaced
But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fantastic Comics Presents. Don't. You don't have to. Thank you very much for showing up live today. I'm looking at the numbers, and it's a stacked, full house. Go ahead and say hi and chat. We'll talk to you in just a moment. For those of you that are new here,
my name is Yule Carter, comic book retailer in Berkeley, California.
That's right. Berkeley, California. That is Wednesday through Sunday, 12 to 5 p.m. I am the sole employee of fantastic comics, and I have some people that help out. Oh, wait, I'm not an employee. I don't even get paid. What the hell? I run the joint though, and it's a tough task sometimes. And let me tell you, it can be very difficult getting up to do this show. But tonight's not one of those nights. No, I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about the signing we're going to be having next week or tomorrow. I mean, next week starts tomorrow. And if you didn't notice what was going on in the picture between video clips, Joe Casey is going to be signing in our store. You can go to our Substack and find out all about it, except for the correct date. And we're going to get into that in just a moment. For once, it isn't just me that's screwing up. I know you're like, screwing up, Buell, that's not like you at all. It's not always my fault that you don't realize you purchased the same comic book with a different cover, or that cover that wasn't the one you expected wasn't the comic book. That's not always my fault. But man, between the computer and I just never really liked working with computers all that much. YouTube's fine. Maybe emails, but I get so many of them all the time. And let me tell you, I kind of screwed up just a little bit and maybe contacted Joe a little bit too late about his return flight. Now, I hope that didn't make a difference as far as him getting out here because nothing's going to change. But I haven't heard from him. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I hope everything's okay. So we're gonna find out tomorrow because we're having a signing. Joe Casey's gonna be in the store 3 to 5 p.m. 5 o'clock, I'm gonna close like normal and only allow people that I really, really enjoy, whose presence I really enjoy, to come in for the last hour. You know who you are, and if you don't come on in. After hours. But if you're picking up books, that's always a very important thing. So come on in and do that, of course. Tomorrow's going to be busy because there is a ton of books. Did I say that last week? Did I say that 2 weeks before that? There's a lot of books coming out, and there's a lot of people out there talking about all the moves that companies are making and whether or not things are going well for them. Wes over on Thinking Critical was talking about sales of Penguin Random House. Secret, shh, don't tell anybody that I got a guy on the inside, but Marvel ain't selling that well. DC really isn't selling that well. Comics. If we had a boom like back in the QVC days, the 90s, and everybody and their mother were buying 2, 3, 4 comics each at the prices of today, oh man, I don't know I can keep up. That's tough. I think what we're seeing is there may be less people than normal or than before reading comics. There's so many different reasons for that, of course. The cost maybe is one of the reasons. Although, for the most part, people aren't, when they buy a lot of comics, they spend a lot of money, okay? But when they buy a comic or a few comics, it's about $20, $25. It's pretty much what I spent when I didn't have a comic book job. You know what I mean? 20, $25 a week. Maybe I went over to 35. Of course, it was a lot more books at $1.25, $1.50, $2.50, whatever. But not that much more. And with the way the rent is these days, I can't imagine being in a city and I'm looking at Gizmo. I can't imagine being able to go back down to 60 cents. $1.95, $2.95, $2.95 maybe, but $3.95 I think is where we're really going to have to sit at. But it doesn't look like the companies are. Most of the books that we like to buy, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, X-Men, those are almost all like $4.99 books. I think the X-Men aren't actually, but those others are. And then with DC, when you get the special covers that have the regular cover on the inside, it's $1 more. So your $4.99 book is now a $5.99 book. Or your mini-series event is a $6.99 book, or it's a $7.99 book. Screw that. If it's foil, it's $9.99, you know. But people buy them. They like them. They're pretty. It's not like before where you're buying a bunch of the same issue. So all of that gets split up among the entire sales. And of course, a lot of the variant covers are propping up sales of the comic books. We're going to talk about #1 issues. And I know we kind of talked about this last week, but it wasn't specific to this. We're going to talk about starting and restarting and stopping and restarting series and whether or not it really matters. Maybe. So I screwed up with Joe just a little bit, but I think everything's going to be fine. But it's not just me that did this.
Job, instead of always coming to me, asking me for money, saying, I've made a huge mistake, you can bail yourself out next time.
I've never admitted to a mistake.
Fantastic Comics has a Substack, and I know I told you all about that. It's going to be scrolling down below. We also have a Patreon page if you enjoy it so much that you don't want to buy comics from me, but you want to throw some ducats my way. Ducats? Who says that? Okay, I'm going to turn off my camera, and we're going to share the screen. We're going to share Fantastic Comics Substack. Share. So here it is. You can see right down below. It's a cozy signing meet and greet with Joe Casey tomorrow, Wednesday, 26th, 3 to 5 p.m. Oh my gosh. #1, we should have got this out a long time ago. But go ahead and take a look at it. Just know that tomorrow, Wednesday, is actually the 25th. But we're going to clue in on this one and say, I am Captain Dum Dum. Wednesday is obviously the 25th, not the 26th. I'm going to just read this to you. Apologies in case I have screwed up your Automagic calendar parsers. Joe Casey is coming in here tomorrow from 3 to 5 p.m., which is Wednesday, the 25th of June. As is usual, when I mess up on the newsletter, here's some media of Gizmo and a bonus pal who is looking none too impressed with my grasp of dates. That's right. That was us talking in the background. That was Cookie hanging out with Gizmo. FYI, Joe Casey also has a Substack himself full of interesting industry tales. Why this one, Quitting my first Marvel comic, is excellent. I highly recommend you check it out. And just like Fantastic Comics Substack, totally free. All right. So there you go. I can now say I'm not the only one that screws up all the time on this show. At this store. Whew. And boy, do I. My goodness gracious. I'm going to go to the chat first. So I'm going to say to each and every one of you.
Hello. 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 Oh. Go. Look out. Hello.
Look out. Look out. All right. First up. Yo. Can't wait to meet Joe Casey tomorrow and pick up my new comics, Fantinuum says. I can't wait for you to pick up that fat stack of comics myself. I don't think there'll be extras tomorrow, so you should be okay there. Julia Pill's in the other room, and she says, hello. Roxanne Foster, looking forward to tomorrow. Yes, I'm looking forward to tomorrow also. Elithid Lore. Hey, all. Hey. Not near mint. Can't miss an episode. Can't make it for an episode. That's me. Another big week for comics this week, Elithid Lore says. Yes, it's true. I better pull out more money for tomorrow. Yes, if you pay cash, then I would recommend it. If you have to transfer some funds, I would recommend it. It is, well, it's just a really, really good week. And you know what? I can't hold out any longer. Fakey Kane has a brand new book from Floating World, which is a comic book store in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. And they do really fun comics by creators that don't usually do mainstream stuff, unless Image is mainstream. And it's all about this billionaire scientist-y kind of guy named Elon Gates, who had a wife named Rhymes, and they have a kid. And there's a music career. Anyway, there's some crazy, crazy stuff going on in here, and it looks hilarious. And it's like going to be a lot of the Fly kind of stuff in here, obviously, on the cover. Can't wait. Shaky Kane. And somebody named Jinx. I don't know who this Jinx is, but you're really going for Shaky Kane and hope that the stories, I don't really care. West sure does a lot of talking. Well, he does. He does. He has a lot. He's way more committed to YouTube than I am. And when you do, you got to talk. Wes was full alarmist this past week, Spider Guy says. Well, he's back from vacation, 3 weeks. And I mean, I'm sure, the question is like, how much is faking it to make it, right? I don't know. I think when we get into the talking about number ones, the conversation ultimately seems that no matter what concerns a person has about the industry that they like, I'm going to just keep it to comic books. I don't know about every other industry. But being a Marvel Comics fan, this is the kind of shirt that lets you know when I'm a Marvel Comics fan. You know what I mean? 70s and 80s is my time, but I've been sticking with it for so long. Yeah, there's plenty of times when I think to myself, God, I'm an idiot for still reading this stuff. And then something happens. And it's fantastic. We'll be talking about some of those books. Maybe. He's happiest when he gets to talk about the culture war. He does get so excited. Are you going to watch Ironheart? Well, Randy Hyatt, let me tell you, I don't usually watch the movies or the television. Ironheart, there was something about it. I can't remember, some villain. Still, I'm not going to see it. I don't really care that much. Also, if I did, I really wouldn't want to watch them because just like anything, an adaptation, like think about your favorite movie being adapted into comic book form. And there may have been some really great ones, or maybe those are the only things you like. I mean, but maybe a book. And like you kind of see how those things occur when Marvel was doing the Stephen King, The Dark Tower, and those things just kind of kept going on and on and on and on. And, they're trying to be faithful. The Game of Thrones are based off the books, not the television program. It's hard to do that and make it exciting as a book, in comic book form. So there have to be liberties that are going to occur. And no, I'm not going to watch Ironheart. But the store is going to take a Thursday night where we are going to get together probably a week or 2 or 3, depending on how it all has to happen, where we're all going to get together and watch Superman, some of us for the second or third time. Not me, because it's going to be just once. And so it comes out July 11th. I'm looking forward to it. I only ever saw a little bit of that one really extended crypto scene. Saw that. And I think we're all going to get together and go see Fantastic Four. And there was another movie I saw that isn't comic book related that I was going to recommend to some people, but I can't remember what it is. And it's probably for the best. I mean, we really shouldn't have too many of these outings. Fantastic Comics Substack with 100% less BS than Tom B's. I'm going to tell you like it is. I don't hate the X-Men stuff, and I don't find that all of it's a failure. So going back to Wes, if you think that X Factor and X Force and New Mutants or NYX or Extraordinary X-Men are books that are going to last long, you are fooling yourself. Okay? 36 issues is a luxury that we don't have these days in comicdoms. Again, we're going to address this when we're talking about Best of Last Week also. It's constant. It just happens. But think back on some of your favorite things. Whether it be an extended time of buying a series, think about how much of that you really enjoyed. Maybe it was all of it. Or think about the Runaways and how volume 1 is better than all the other volumes put together, and I wouldn't want to have any of them, even the second volume, which Brian K. Vaughan did. The first was a thing, and it lasted as long as it could. Atari Force didn't last long, but it lasted as long as it could, and I love it dearly. The Micronauts, we got over 80 issues, if you can believe it. We never need to go back to it, other than going back to it. We don't have to make it again. But then we have like Spider-Man. And yeah, there's a lot of relaunches these days. Yeah, how's your father? Says evening, Yule. Evening. Ooh, Doc post a lot. Cheers. Well, Doc, are we gonna maybe see you tomorrow? Could that possibly be? Late, honey, I got to go meet Joe. I got this X-Men I need to get signed by him. I got this Godland I need to get signed by him. I have all these Kneel Before Zods, which has Yule 9's first appearance. I mean, gotta get that. Dwayne Muth, I'd rather have an Iron Man movie. Emphasis on the man. Yeah, I hear you, Dwayne. Actually, I never would have thought I would wanted to see an Iron Man movie when Tyler and I went and saw it, my buddy Tyler. When we saw that, I was like, man, this is a phenomenal comic book movie. I didn't know comic book movies could be like this. This was so good. It was funny in spots. And then every other Marvel movie pretty much did the same routine. Yeah. So Iron Man was a good movie. I mean, I've seen Not Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison before. Billy Madison is basically Iron Man, or Iron Man is basically Billy Madison, and I'm sure a million other things that have been like that. Let's see. Fantinium says, yes, I'll be with the Fantastic Comics gang during that week. Yes, you will. Fantinium's going to be there. Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be a rager. I don't know how we're going to make it. How's your father? I always get less hype for the movie the closer to release. God damn, ain't that the truth? We have cats howling in the background right now. Not our cats, just cats. And they're not in the backyard, just on the side. So if you can hear it, it's like motorcycles. Yeah, I kind of did, like when I started caring about movies, we'd go out and see, like we just go out and see movies. Oh, I heard about this. Let's go see it. But I don't know, with the exception, maybe it was Batman that did that to me. You remember television, entertainment television on cable? And you're like, damn, I don't want to watch another Maury Povich or another Sally Jesse Raphael in the afternoon or some Power Rangers or something because you don't watch Power Rangers or whatever. And so you're just kind of like watching television. And it was all movies, like hyping for movies all the time, hyping. And Batman, it was just like, it was one of those first things that they ever really latched onto. And it was just like every minute there's another, and then you go to commercial and it's the Batman preview and everything. And you go and see Batman. I was really stoked to go see Batman. And I mean, yeah, I definitely enjoyed it, but it's never really been the same ever since. Yule, have you figured out where we're going to dinner on Superman night? No, I think we're gonna just do like we always do and just go to the oh, you want to go to your place because you don't want to leave your house. That's why. All right, maybe we'll do that. We'll talk. We'll talk tomorrow. We'll settle this tomorrow. Plenty of you guys will be here. We'll settle it tomorrow. I watch all comic movies and enjoy most of them. Yeah, man. I mean, that is totally, if you do, that's fine. And I mean, there's a lot of the movies that got people into comics or got people back into comics. And, oh, I don't really remember it that way. Well, let me show you the Infinity Gauntlet, and stuff like that. And I don't begrudge anybody. Like, I'm just doing my own thing. I have way too many other, look, I'm watching Harry Wild right now, guys, and American Gladiator rerun, or not even reruns. They're just on some stupid channel. They do that. You don't need to have a streaming service. There's plenty of them already, and they're free. They just have some stupid commercials at the wrong place. I'm gonna try to make a Sunday edition of a fantastic comic hangout. Well, dude, you should. It's awesome. All right, let's see. Oh, Jagron. Hey, Yule. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. Sounds like everybody is. They're chatting it up. Also, so Yule, do you think Superman the Kryptonite Spectrum by team that does Ice Cream Man could be good from Black Label brand? Is that going to be a thing? Yeah, I like that Marazzo guy and Martin Marazzo or something like that. Martin Prince or Mark Prince or something like that. Yeah, I think they could do a good job. I mean, I'm really done with the Black Label magazine style stuff, and then a lot of times they don't do them in magazine style all the time anyway. So just having a normal comic book, it seems like they do it sometimes they don't. I would if they were trying to court me to do this, and unless I wanted a magazine style, I would fight to get a normal comic book. That's what I would do. Let's see here. All right, you guys talking. It's not really married life, is it? Still love your posts. Excellent. Talking to each other, I know, but that's what I'm asking you. Did Val didn't come in and say that's what happened. I thought you were just like hanging forever. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. We're going to talk about some comic books that came out last week that are really, really good. It's not always based on sales, but a lot of times it is. And don't forget, we're going to be having a signing tomorrow with Joe Casey. First up, runners up. Runner up. Krypton. Or Crypto, I mean. Did I say Krypton earlier, I wonder? Crypto, the Last Dog of Krypton, written by Ryan North. So I know I need to pull at least a couple more of these off the shelf for people that like Ryan North a whole lot. Mike Norton is doing the art on the inside, and Mike Norton has done a thing for Dark Horse back in the day called Battle Pug. And what a great Jay Lee cover. I mean, if only for this alone. I love what they're doing at DC right now with the Superman up in the upper left. You can see Crypto here. It's kind of like it's a page out of the old Marvel days, when they would put, the faces and stuff like that. Now Marvel does that as a freaking variant cover, but we all want to see the faces of the characters that make up the team. We all want to see like a full body shot of like Miles Morales, maybe, swinging towards us, maybe Supergirl, flying towards us, or whoever the hell it might be. Of course, maybe I should have kept it over at Marvel and said Ms. Marvel or freaking Captain Marvel or whatever. I'm glad I didn't put this in my top 5. I haven't read it yet. And I also heard that this is going to be ending at issue number 10, West Coast Avengers. One of my customers let me know via text that this was a freaking awesome issue, and I can't wait to read it, but I have to do all these things. Strictly for sales, and I have no idea other than that. We've got Emma Frost, White Queen. I have to get more of these in stock ASAP. Great DNA cover. It's kind of like cartoony cheesecake, right? Not quite Olivia. Okay, coming at number 5, we've got Vanishing Point. Why, my goodness gracious. I often stand outside until customers come in the store. And one time on Thursday, I think it was, I stood outside and oh my goodness, Ryan Alexander Tanner, the guy whose name is on this book right here, is coming towards my store. Holy cow. And I said, well, man, you gotta sign my comic for me. Do you want me to get them for the store or do some for the store? I said, yeah, sure. Do all but one. And so he signed them up. I sold out of them, not necessarily because of it, because Mark Russell sells pretty well in my store, and this is a pretty captivating cover, even though Ryan didn't do it. It's pretty cool. It'll let you know what you kind of like looking to expect, and it's a darn good issue. I got to get more of them in. I got to get more of number 1 in, which I sold out of afterwards. And that one. So what happens is, for issue 1, we have Juan Doe doing the art. For issue 2, it's Ryan. And then 3 and 4 are either Juan Doe or somebody else. And then 5 and 6 are Ryan back on the book. And Ryan's an old friend of mine. And I'm really happy. This is kind of like his first major floppy comic work, with the exception of like kind of doing backup stories in Savage Dragon. Fantastic Four Fanfare number 2. I think I didn't think this was going to do as well as it did. I love the fact that Mark Buckingham is doing a bunch of stuff for Marvel right now, short stories, showing people how it's done, telling a classic superhero story that doesn't feel dated, even though the look is, it's comforting. It's like home. Jonathan Hickman is writing one of the stories in this book, and also John Tyler Christopher, I think I got that right. He writes and draws a story in this, and just for that alone, this was a really cool book to pick up. And I think I have like 1 variant cover left, so I definitely have to get more of this, and it was a good issue. Bring on the Bad Guys, Doom. Each Bring on the Bad Guys is going to be a number 1 issue. So don't let that be a bad, a thing that you're going to have a problem with. The main covers are all going to be Lee Bermejo, but the creative team, some of them are going to have different writers, but Guggenheim does a bunch of them, and then there's going to be different illustrators, and it focuses on a different bad guy, or so I thought, but there is a connecting thread throughout all the stories. So you're going to have to buy the Green Goblin one, even if you didn't want to. All right. Coming in at number 2 is Weapon X-Men number 5. Maybe this is the reason why I didn't want to put West Coast Avengers up, but I actually read this issue also. I knew it was the last issue and had been for some time, or was going to be for some time. This guy, Joe Casey, man, he keeps telling me about these books that are going to be ongoing and then they get canceled. It's a bummer. It's a real bummer, because God damn it, this was the very, very best. Last issue was, and this issue is the best issue of the series, and I really would have liked to see where this could have gone, because it was really damn fun. This is a nice one-shot issue, and the way the storyline is told, there is some flashbacky elements to it, but it's done in such a way that it's very inventive, rather than the way it usually works in comics. And it's a real shame because Chris Cross was doing some really fun stuff. I was really loving Thunderbird, and it's a real shame what happens here. And well, I mean, you should definitely pick it up and read it, but also, get it tomorrow and have Joe Casey sign it. And number one, we have Aliens versus Avengers. The only thing that could have beat a Joe Casey book this week, of course, was a Jonathan Hickman book. And I have not read this. I need to get caught up with it. But what I really need to do, obviously, is just, pick up the collected form of it when it comes out. And I'm definitely ordering more of those than I usually do because I am such a small store. I've heard through the grapevine that the story was really good, and Jonathan Hickman didn't lay an egg on it. And of course, people are then saying, well, that's because he can't tell a long format story without screwing the pooch. And all the stuff that he does good is like mini series and whatnot. And I say, of course, you're wrong. Even though I didn't read Secret Warriors, a lot of people really, really enjoyed that. And he's done a lot of miniseries, but he's also done a lot of long format stuff. His Fantastic Four, and I think Avengers were really darn good. And the only reason why it doesn't stand the test of time is because of Marvel's stupidity and everything they do. they always screw it up, and that's one of the reasons why I just don't understand why people get so angry with Marvel all the time. Because they always screw up. What? You're not a Marvel fan? Tell me you're not a Marvel fan without telling me you're a Marvel fan. So that's how it goes, right? Something like that. Yeah, Marvel, they screw everything up. DC was like the steady Eddie, rock steady Freddy. Always going forward and never really caring about how much people really hate what you're doing or not caring what you're doing. We're gonna stick with it. We're gonna stick with it. That's DC, and I feel that bitching about Marvel just kind of shows a little bit that maybe like you just haven't suffered enough, to where you can make it like it's fun, Marvel does this. I laugh when I see DC people despair. Oh my God, Blue Beetle got shot in the head. Oh no, Max Lord's a jerk. Max Lord was always a jerk, but I mean, he wasn't a shooting Blue Beetle in the head kind of jerk, and it was very upsetting. But you got to do when you're a writer that's trying to shake things up. You got to kill a few people, right? Anyway, Aliens, Avengers, that was the best of last week. It was sellout. Definitely ordering more, but not too much more because it's not like I can get all the 4 issues anymore. All right. Let's go back to chat for a second. Let's see here. I will be disappointed if Joe Casey doesn't show up with sunglasses and chewing gum like a maniac. That's you chewing gum like a maniac and also wearing sunglasses. In fact, I would be disappointed if you weren't in the store chewing up like you're a cow chewing cud, right? With your aviators and Joe with his sunglasses and his bubble gum, and you guys are just like, we need the mirror image of that. Val, get to work on that. Jagron, it's too bad Marvel has lost the 10-issue cancel. I just talked about a 5-issue cancel book. I definitely agree. I mean, we were supposed to get at least a year's worth of Kneel Before Zod over at DC, but nobody cares. I mean, I cared. I really cared. It was damn good. Like, it was kicking ass good. I couldn't believe the shit we were reading in a DC comic. It was amazing. It was never going to last. It was never going to last. No matter what Joe said. I was like, oh, really? But it was supposed to go 12 issues at least. And then it got knocked down to 10. And then it ended at 8. And it's like, what the? That's some bullshit. Like DC, you're supposed to. So I was typing in chat over at Thinking Critical last Saturday, or maybe it was the Saturday before. And I said something about DC being for old people. And they had Dylan on. Dylan's like a Superman guy. You know, we got to not throw the young Superman kids out of the club. You know, I'm not trying to do anything like that. But what I am saying is it has the perception of old people comic books. Marvel always had the they're new and they're jazzy and they do stuff that's different. They have young characters and they have different voices and they try different things. And DC goes straight ahead, just like that. And now DC still does this kind of stuff too, but they're willing to stick things out a little bit more than Marvel is. I mean, I always felt that like 36 issues with DC was like you fell out of bed and you got 24 issues. You know, you got Amethyst issues. You got just, I mean, all sorts of books that nobody was ever going to read a ton of, like The Question, and it got like 40 or 50 issues. Green Arrow, you know, it can come around and it can be exciting and people can read it, but you can't ever expect Green Arrow to stick around. It's never happened before. Why should it now? Green Arrow and Green Lantern had themselves in the same freaking book. I mean, there wasn't even enough world for those two characters to have their own books, except in like miniseries or some other junk going on. Now it's Green Lantern Corps, some miniseries about a new Green Lantern. Got this Green Lantern stuff going on. Going to stop it and start it and stop it and start it and stop it and start it. Same thing with the Flash. When you start we're not there yet. I've seen that comic today and I was wondering what the deal was with that. Oh, shoot. Which comic? You can't say which comic. Come on, Delph. Man, Weapon X-Men should have been the next ongoing instead of Deadpool Wolverine or Deadpool's Wolverines or whatever the hell it's called. They did too many of those and now Wolverines. I know. Laura Kinney. Look, I don't have a problem with a comic that isn't going to last a long time coming out. Call it a miniseries. Let the writer, let the team do something monumental within the pages so that I might want more later. Maybe another miniseries. There's nothing wrong with a series of miniseries. Deadpool didn't get a regular series. He got many series of miniseries, and it sold very well back then. Now it's just, it can't ever, it starts to degrade it, I mean, you think people are coming on for their number one. All right, we're going to talk about that. Let's talk about number ones for a second. So Wes was talking about Spider-Man having just stopped and how Daredevil's stopping and then it's going to start again. And it just went on its 25th issue. It's going to stop. The Ultimate line is going to stop. I'm sure the Ultimate line is going to stop. An event is going to happen, and then we're going to see where it is going forward. Probably. But maybe it won't. Maybe this was just one of those finite things, and those are good to have. There's nothing wrong with it. Again, looking at how much you love, like I like a lot of Spider-Man, but we all know the areas where I don't like it. And then there's areas within what I have that I'm not really that big a fan of either, but I've got it. Why would I get rid of it, right? I feel like sometimes maybe I do want to go through and call out that stuff, but then would I really get rid of the first issue that Flash Thompson got his legs taken out? People get upset with the politics. Flash Thompson was in Vietnam and he brought back like a Vietnamese chick. There were all sorts of protests going on in school when Spider-Man was swinging by or Peter Parker was not attending. The same problems happen all the time. But the one thing that never happened was the renumbering all the time. the X-Men issues that I'm going to get Joe Casey to sign tomorrow in my own collections. 3 issues, 4 issues. First volume of X-Men. Important because it's the first volume, right? The Joe Casey run of X-Men I really liked. Chuck Austin coming on afterwards and me continuing to get it, I didn't like it. I hated it. There's a few things I like about it, but overall I hated it. The Juggernaut got lucky with She-Hulk in that one, by the way. And then there were so many other things. But I don't even dislike the things that most people talk about in the Chuck Austin run. And then he was writing regular X-Men after Grant Morrison. So he took over. Chuck Austin took over for Joe Casey and Grant Morrison. And it's like wild. Like, in no world should that ever happen. In any world. Like, if Chuck Austin came in and replaced Saladin Ahmed on Daredevil, even that shouldn't happen. Relaunching something with the same person coming on. It used to be a badge of honor that I was coming in and doing Spider-Man, coming in and doing Thor, which has been around a long time. But the reality is, Thor didn't start at number 1. It started in Journey into Mystery, and it kept the numbering, and then it, that kind of stuff. Doctor Strange was in Strange Tales, and then it got a new number 1 for the first time. A number 1 for the first time. Why? Why didn't Thor get that? I don't know, but they like the big numbers on the Thor. And, seeing 350 issues is pretty awesome. And I can tell you why that's awesome, because both DC and Marvel have legacy numbering in their books. And I think even Witchblade does that. So even other companies that have been around a long time. Also, take a look at Todd McFarlane. That guy doesn't relaunch his book. Spawn number 1 coming back out and selling again, that might make a lot of money. I mean, I'd probably buy 25 issues. And if any comic store around there would buy 25 issues of that, holy cow. That would be like one of the best-selling Spawn things of all time. Well, I mean, in the current days. But again, we're taking a look at numbers and we're comparing them to yesteryear. And things are just so different. Entertainment, streaming, people trade waiting for comic books and not buying the monthly issues. People buying online or reading online. Back when we had to buy comics in order to read them, you couldn't just steal them online. And if you did, it would probably have to take like a month just to get all that download going, Maybe I'm wrong. You can tell me. Let me know in the comments down below. But I mean, I can think of so many things that aren't even. There were 3 freaking channels and UHF channels, and then there was Fox, and then maybe you had a few other channels that weren't on the UHF, and then that was it. And then maybe you were one of those people that had cable and you were, you only know cable in your house, but you didn't know cable like we have cable, and you definitely didn't know about streaming, and you couldn't just freaking TiVo stuff at one time. And then there's the people that know the TiVo stuff. But the way it is now with the streaming, you can go online and get an account, and I can read comics through something. Or as long as that account's going to be able to work with those companies, or as long as we're going to use phones. I mean, who knows in 5 more years what it's going to be. And that's going to be another hindrance on reading the comics that way. So that's not even movies. Movies aren't what they used to be. Television isn't what it used to be. Nothing is like it used to be. It's always been that way. Radio isn't like it used to be. Who even says anything about that anymore? I like listening to the radio. But like the sports channels, now those are still good. Every Sunday you get someone talking finances for some reason on a sports channel. on all of them. And it's like, oh, I just want to, oh, maybe I'm lucky and someone's talking about fantasy or just betting. Oh, yeah. And they just say the number all the time, all the time, all the time. This shit's happening all the time. Marvel canceling a title ain't no thing. Marvel using their numbering was Luke Cage, Hero for Hire. Then it was Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Heroes for Hire. It was Marvel Premiere, and then it was Iron Fist. And it was a bunch of titles, and then they got whatever numbering or whatever they did. Backup characters in comic books is not a big deal. They should do this more. It shouldn't be at charging us more money for it. It's to keep those properties alive and making us care about them. Maybe eventually, like I loved Spectacular Spider-Man more than Amazing Spider-Man at that time. And it was when White Tiger was the backup character. And I loved White Tiger. I loved that character. And what Bendis did to him was I can't even say the word. You know what I mean. I can't stand him is what I'm saying. Irrehensible. And I never, ever thought that White Tiger needed his own series. You know what I mean? What are you, stupid? I love Firestorm in the back of Flash. He got a lot of issues, well over 100, but a lot of those weren't any good. By the way, after Chuck Austin was done with X-Men, Brubaker came on soon thereafter, and those were really great issues. And then Matt Fraction came on, and I know there's some divisiveness when it comes to it, but I think he did some really good issues also. One of my favorite X-Men's ever is one of his issues. So it can happen that you keep reading and then something you like, maybe it references something from the bad days of when you were reading it. I think that the numbering is important to keep going on, but it's not that important. You never have a problem starting at minute 1 in a brand new movie, James Bond, let's say. You never have a problem minute 1 with a new Star Wars something, a new Marvel something. Oh, I want to see a new Iron Man, someone said in chat. That's it. Minute 1 is a new issue. Boom, right there. Is Robert Downey Jr. going to be in it? It's a new art team. Boom, a new number 1. We kept the numbering. It's still Iron Man. That's how I think we should look at it. Nobody has a problem in a trilogy reading page 1 of a brand new book. We're excited that we get brand new number 1. Or a brand new book number 1 in a trilogy in the same universe. Oh my gosh. Oh, I can't wait. This is going to be great. Oh, and then there's a one-off book. It starts at page 1. It's different characters. Holy cow. This is great. But we don't see that in comics that way. Why is that? Don't stress that we're relaunching a brand new number 1. Think of it as a brand new chapter and you are continuing on, but somebody else is starting for the first time. And I think it's an incorrect assessment by the comic book companies that we need to have a brand new number 1. But if we go back to when comics were selling like hotcakes in the 90s, it was a lot of number 1s. There was a lot of people looking for the next Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And there was a plethora of comic books that came out. And that was the 80s. And then the 90s came out. And then there was QVC. And there was Image. And there was Valiant. And there was Chromium covers. And sure, they were the only cover that you could buy unless you got the newsstand. It was still specialty, and it was something that people really went nuts for. Don't ever spend a lot of money on a Valiant Turok number 1. Don't ever, 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 ever do it. In fact, The shipping for a Turok #1 by Valiant, Bob Layton on the cover. Joe, yeah, I think Bob Layton. Maybe it was Joe Quesada. The shipping should be more than what you pay for Turok #1. Okay, Turok the Dinosaur Hunter. We were talking about Turok, right? Don't ever, 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 ever spend more than you do for shipping on Turok #1. This we're gonna clip this, and it's gonna be my first short right here. This is let me see if I got a banner for this. The most you should pay for Turok #1 is the shipping, no less. That's it. All right. Thank you for that PSA. Speaking of man, this is getting into like talking about ordering. 3 straight weeks I haven't ordered something from Diamond on their FOC. They warned me a long time ago that if I didn't order straight from the catalog, that there might be comics I didn't get. And I told you last week that I was worried about Space Ghost Annual, Space Ghost, and something else. Don't worry. They're now at Lunar. Yes. Which means my Lunar bill is very expensive these days, or going to be. It seems like they pulled out. They're owed well over $500,000 from Dynamite. Is they're now at Lunar. In fact, DC announced that they are going to be distributed by a Canadian company also. So any store that doesn't like working through Lunar can now go through those people soon if you want to make up a brand new account with somebody you haven't dealt with before. Turok, Son of Stallone, #1 would get asses in seats. I would love to see that, Dwayne. That would be excellent. I like that. Son of Stallone. Then I'll have a fade, and then we'll go into that, and then that will be the YouTube short. And we're going to get millions of people that are going to be like, I like Turok. Why is he making fun of Turok? I'll be like, you're fucking crazy. Turok sucks. They made a video game for that stupid character. Ain't nobody, why did they make a video game about Turok? How fucking stupid is that? I guess there wasn't an internet back then. I mean, Jesus Christ. Did you ever play X Mutants? I had that for the Sega Genesis. Rock on. X Mutants, drawn by anybody out there? Come on now, don't look. You gotta just tell me. You can let me know in the comments down below, and I'll believe you. Tango and Cash got people to the movies. LOL. Yeah, sure they did. You know those guys, man. Yeah, I look up to those guys. Although not Sly Stallone, from what I understand, there is no looking up when it comes to him. Good job, Dwayne. Good job. No prizes. All right, let's talk about some comic books that are coming out tomorrow. Let me do this.
Why, we sell a dozen a day in this price range.
Who buys them? Tax collectors?
Even if I had to pay, it would be worth it. Just for the occasion.
What, something big going on somewhere?
It's going on right here. It's a big night.
Well, it's just an old run-of-the-mill Wednesday. Well, the calendar's full of them.
It's true. There's just so many Wednesdays. Let's talk about some new comic books that are coming out tomorrow. I think I got everything up. There's a ton of books. But again, when you're like, hold on. Look, the comic store doesn't expect you to buy everything. We expect you to buy what you want to buy and enjoy what you want to buy. However it is that you enjoy it. You don't have to come in and tell me. But buy it. You know, that's the thing. Don't buy something you don't like. Nobody wants. Someone comes in, they're trying to buy something, but they've got all these specific things, and it's difficult to hook them up with something. And this is what the customer experience is: being able to come in and talk to somebody, and I can serve you the proper wine with that meal that you have, or stuff like that. And it can be tough. It can be tough. So just get what you like. Don't feel like you're forced to do it. Just come in and experience the new rack. Because let me tell you, the new rack is always awesome. I always love going to the new rack at the comic store. It just, man, I remember being a kid and dad's driving me to Comic Heaven is the name of this store. Alhambra. We were traveling not to West Covina, close to our house, not West Covina, close to the sci-fi fantasy bookstore that we would go to. Well, it was more than that, but it had a killer section. Not that. We went all the way to fucking Alhambra, which is like at least another 20 minutes. When you're like, oh, you got to go 30 minutes to go somewhere, you're not talking about going to Alhambra, okay? When you're like, oh, in Southern California, it's great. 30 minutes, you're at the beach. 30 minutes, you're in LA. 30 minutes, you're in the mountains. You never say 30 minutes and you're in Alhambra, okay? Never. But I loved going out and hanging out with those people. They were from New York, and they totally had the accents, and they totally had the attitude, and it was like, that's what comics are to me. And it was a husband and wife and their fucking little baby who's not a baby anymore, and who has a brother that's running the company. And it's just like, oh my God, I just remember like going in and just having like smile ear to ear. And it's kind of like that way. Wednesdays are still always good. I always feel good about Wednesdays. There has been a Wednesday recently where I was like, whoa, I think it caught up to me. And I let Ray Son know, and he's going to be there tomorrow helping out. And I was like, man, I'm just not, this is kicking my ass. And it was probably a slower week for comics, maybe one of those fifth weeks also. But tomorrow, I'm up for it, man. I can't wait. Let's talk about some comics. All right. First up, this is a big one. It's not bubbles or anything like this. This is definitely educational. We've got the new history of the DC Universe, written by Mark Waid with art by Todd Knock and Jerry Ordway, mostly Jerry Ordway, and a great gatefold Chris Samney cover. Funny enough, in the chat last week, a guy named Eli Tanner said that Chris Samney is, I think, the best, is what he said. And then Ryan Tanner, who hasn't, I think, I'm not trying to spill any tea or anything. They didn't converse about this at any time recently. Said to me, Chris Samney is the best. And not unlike last week, which was Tuesday, I said a bunch of different illustrators and why Chris Samney is going to have a fight. But man, I tell you, this is an awesome cover. And the art inside, man, Jerry Ordway is amazing. I mean, the fact that he can pull this stuff off and make, text look exciting. And it really is going through the new history of the DC Universe as it is now. So it's going to be updated a bit, but it's doing it in such a way that it's very memorable. And believe it or not, there's actually a black character's reference way early on. And I think it's pretty exciting that it's part of the new history of the DCU. So you should check this out for sure. Most definitely, this is one, and it has a lot of covers. Spider-Man Wolverine. Did we need another one when we had Wolverine Weapon X-Men? I don't know, but I do love Kari Andrews, and I expect this to only go about 6, 8, 10, 12. Oh, what am I kidding? 5 issues? I'm not the biggest Wolverine guy, but I totally dig Spider-Man, and I haven't really read the first issue. And with the sales out there, I think you haven't either. So if this is a slow week for you, maybe you might pick this one up in the first issue. Wow, that's a pretty powerful cover, if you ask me. And I totally wish it was true. Kill off Jason Todd and kill off Kyle Rayner, right? Who's with me? What a great cover, though. Green Lantern 24 by Jeremy Adams. Not a cigarette book, but a damn good book nonetheless. Predator versus Spider-Man. I think it's 3 of 4. And this one's been doing pretty well for me. Usually the second issue kind of falters as the first issue sells out, but no, it's been doing well for me. Void Rivals number 20. This easily could be a book that replaces one of these cigarette books, and I've been thinking about it. Not for this book, but something else, but even still, maybe even this issue or this book. The Thing number 2 by Tony Fleece. That's how you say his name, Fleece. And that's a great cover. And it really, Daredevil fans, if you're not picking this one up, what's wrong with you? Minor Arcana by Boom Studios. Issue number 8, written and drawn by Jeff Lemire. I'm not reading it. I am a big Jeff Lemire fan, but it's not Marvel or DC, so I don't feel the need to get into it too quickly. But if you're the kind of person that doesn't like Marvel or DC, chances are you are going to like this book. And I'm a big Jeff Lemire fan. I just kind of am saving it for myself, for the good days. Hyde Street number 7. This is an Image comic book. It's a Ghost Machine imprint. All the guys have signed exclusive contracts to do stuff for Image and Ghost Machine. Jeff Johns, Ivan Reis. A real shame that Ivan Reis isn't working for DC, because I can only imagine what would be going on. But this is a cool cover. Not cover of the week, mind you, but a cool cover. The Vision and Scarlet Witch number 2. Definitely one of the comic books that that Wes was talking about getting started and restarted was the Scarlet Witch, often written by Joe Orlando. And Joe Orlando writes about 10 or 12 issues. It ends, and then they started over. It was the Scarlet Witch. Then it was the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. Then it was Scarlet Witch, the next level. I don't remember what it was called. And now it's the Vision and Scarlet Witch. So go check out Wes's video and put a thumbs up in my comment. Continuing, we have You Will Do Bad Things, number 4. This came out alongside another Image book that really doesn't have anything to do with it, just that it came out number one on the same week. Also in the same area of the alphabet. So if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Also, you should be expecting it in just a moment. Undiscovered Country, number 31. This is the first issue of the last arc. Now, I know there's some people out there that I'm holding this for still, but I don't have all the same customers, but I still have the same numbers. So if you want to get in on this now, or have been reading the trades, or are interested in what Scott Snyder and Charles Soule do together at a book that isn't from the main 2, you should check this out. Also, Giuseppe Camuncoli does the artwork, so you know it looks good. Giant-sized Age of Apocalypse, number 1. They're all number 1s until there's a number 2. This is continuing the Ms. Marvel bouncing through different timelines within the X-Men universe. The variant cover that I think you should be checking out this time is a Blink cover. But nobody seems to care about Blink anymore. We're Taking Everyone Down With Us. That's the book. Number 4 by Matthew Rosenberg and some guy named Landini. Good job. Definitely, this book's been selling really well, and I had to get more number 3s in. I'm behind. And this book just is doing a real good job. I still have some more number 1s, though. And for me to raffle off this very special number 1, I know I've moved the goalposts a few times. I need to sell 2 more copies. Let me do this. 2 more copies, and you'll get this very special 1 per store, and really 1 per store book. And it's got this missive written to the stores. We already talked about this book, Magic Lantern, Shaky Cane. Awesome. Pale Knight number 2, written by Peter Milligan. Jesus, Peter Milligan. I was looking at Val while I was saying Milligan, so I said Milligan, whatever. Val Rodriguez is on art, and it looks really good. And I liked the first issue quite a bit. There was a hook at the end, and it was enough to make me want to read the next one. There are some elements that are same as far as like doing stuff to get something done. But again, I thought it was a real good little twist at the end. And I love Peter Milligan. He's written some of my favorite books. Has he written any of yours? Let me know in the chat. The Seasons number 5. This is the first issue of a new storyline by Rick Remender and Paul Azatessa. I think that's how you say his name. A brand new number 1, everybody. Don't piss all over freaking Greg Rucka. Just be happy that Lazarus is back. This one's called The Fallen. It's not oversized like those last ones that he did, and it looks like, and I got to take the banner down. Oh no, Matthew Lark. It's one of those. Matthew Lark. Still on art. That's great. It's the Team Supreme, and can't wait for this to get in the hands of people. Get Greg Rucka fans back in the store. That's good for me. News from the Fallout. It's a Chris Condon 6-issue miniseries with Jeffrey Allen Love on art. I don't know what it's about, but people seem to be enjoying his Green Arrow, or at least some people have been. And it's an Image book, so you don't have to be worrying about having read Marvel or DC. Kind of continuing with that theme, we've got Mark Miller doing a brand new Huck. This is number 2. Huck, Big Bad World. See, it had a number 1. Nobody has a problem when when Mark Miller does a brand new Magic Order, or a brand new Kick-Ass, or a brand new Huck, or a brand new Nemesis, or a brand new... Why is it okay for Mark Miller? And I mean, I tell you what, the people the kids call it glazing these days. They are glazing Mark Miller like he's the second coming. And he is no second coming. He is no second coming. He's like 3rd or 4th rate Grant Morrison. And people just can't handle it because they don't understand Grant Morrison and can't handle liking good stuff. And you know what? That's like liking Joe Casey too. Not liking Joe Casey. So come in tomorrow and let him know that you like him and that you want to get your shit signed by him. Look at those books. Those are 3 really good books. 2 current, 1 last. Talked about X-Men. You know what? Here's a new one. You're not getting it at my store because I haven't got my order yet, and I'm really getting worried about some of this stuff. Jesus Freak with Benjamin Mara, one of the guys who does like Floating World comics, or at least used to. Truly underground stuff. Jesus Freak. Joe Casey. Don't worry, I got plenty of other stuff that you're going to want to read. All right, now we're in the home stretch. This is the one I was thinking of replacing one of the horror-selling cigarette books, Justice League Unlimited. The last part of the We Are Yesterday storyline that's been going through World's Finest, Superman, Batman, also written by Mark Waid. I think Dan Mora is back on art for this one, so yay. And yeah, maybe, let's see how this sells. This is the time. These are the cigarette books. If Justice League sells better than any of these books right here, this is time to let your voice be heard. Coming up, Ultimate Spider-Man number 18. I'm one issue behind. Damn. And I know they went back to a second print on 17. But I know there's a bunch of people that haven't come in recently. This is the time when people take vacations and stuff like that. Another thing I've been really worried about is like, how's this thing going to be attended? At my store, 3 people is all it needs to happen at one time, and then it's a rush. But even still, I'd like to have 3 people continuously. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something I'm thinking about right now. I hate signings for this reason. Martian Manhunter number 4. Absolute Martian Manhunter. Again, another book that you'd be like, why would you ever do this or expect it to be an ongoing? And this is not an ongoing. Trust me, it's not an ongoing. And there's going to be a break because they extended it longer than they needed to. And people are liking it, and the artwork's fantastic. And I think Dennis Camp is doing a darn good job. He's doing Ultimates. I've been upping my numbers on that. I am a little sad to see that series is going to maybe end at 24, but we'll see how that goes. Absolute Wonder Woman number 9, another cigarette. These are all the main books right now are all important books that are coming out. Let me do it one more time. We got Ultimate Spider-Man. We got Absolute Martian Manhunter. We've got Absolute Wonder Woman number 9, second part of a new story. Got issues 8 and 2. We've got The Summer of Superman cigarette book number 27. 26 I sold out of. 25 I sold out of. 20 I got more coming in. 26 I don't have a lot of. 27, this has been a really picked up with issue 25, if you can believe it. And I've been really enjoying the series since issue 1, but there have been a few parts where there were like a bunch of crossovers and shit like that. But this book, man, it picked up 25, 26, 27. You got to get them. Uncanny X-Men, Gail Simone. Again, Wes was talking about this isn't shit on Wes Day. I'm not trying to do that. It's just I watched the video before I came on, and it's just kind of what I'm thinking about. Yeah, again, I didn't think X Factor was going to last. Definitely not with that premise. But the question is, why do you even start those things? Because they might take off, or it might be something new. Or what you might not realize is that something that you're doing now is affecting someone that's going to do something tomorrow. And there are good things that are going on in this Uncanny X-Men. You can tell because on the 16th issue, David Marquez is back. I mean, that guy is still doing Uncanny X-Men. And Gail Simone's still doing it. And she's doing, like, for me, my favorite Gail Simone stuff, which is, I mean, it's not hard to say, but, I mean, it is. It's like my favorite stuff she's done. Fantastic Four 33. I think there's one more issue and then it's over and then it relaunches, which is another bone of contention for a lot of people because Ryan North is going to be doing it. But I say anytime Humberto Ramos is starting off a new thing, and we know the storyline's been changing recently, so it's going to be a fresh new approach with this whole One World Under Doom bit going on. Humberto Ramos is worth a number 1. I mean, if Marco Cicchetto and Chip Zdarsky are worth a new number 1, if Jason or Joshua Williamson and Jamal Campbell are worth a new number 1 on Superman, if it's hard to say this, Joe Kelly and Pepe Larraz are worth a new number 1 on Spider-Man, then definitely Humberto Ramos is worth a new number 1 on Fantastic Four, even if he's dragging Ryan North along also. And lastly, we've got the cover of the week as far as I'm concerned. Kev Walker's doing the interiors, but this is a Nick Klein cover. Oh, look, it's got Winter Soldier, ladies. I know how you like him. And wow, it's so freaking powerful and just beautiful. God, I love this. I'm so glad he works on paper too, because, you kind of feel like you could tell. And then, a lot of people say, oh, you don't know when people are actually working on paper. But damn, look at those eyes in the upper right. Oh, it's so cool. If you like demonic stuff, that's pretty sweet. And just look at his eyes looking down like there's some worry in them. Ah, it's so good. Those are some new comics that are coming out tomorrow. There's plenty more trades. Blood Squad 7 Volume 2. Now, I might have a problem. I ordered 2 from Lunar, and I ordered a bunch from Simon & Schuster. And Simon & Schuster, before Image moved to Lunar, their trades were available through Simon & Schuster. And I ordered that as a pre-order. And I haven't got it yet. But I wasn't in the store today, so we'll see what happens when I get in tomorrow. All right, let's see. In the mid 70s, I went to the LCS 2 or 3 times a year, and wow. The thing is that back in those days, well, I don't know about a 70s store, but if it was anything like my store in the 80s, there were bins, but the bins had all the new comics from the last few months. And the thing is, there was never going to be a trade for these, right? And there was a certain amount of returnability at one time. And, so you could go, oh, this is a real hot book, and I have a few of these left, and I'm selling them for $5, maybe somebody would say. I mean, I remember taking all my nickels and dimes, putting them up on the counter, $17 worth, maybe a few paper bills, so I can get one of those X-Men issues I needed. It was a lot of money for me back then. I love going in, though. Ivan Reis, Green Lantern. Ghost Machine in the Energon universe. All right, excellent. Google's Ivan Reis, Green Lantern. Excellent. No, those are all great. Yeah, sick. Good. He is wonderful. I mean, them losing him was a real bad thing. Also, him working with Bendis on Superman was a real bad thing. Milligan, Shade the Changing Man. Rock on. Mark is good at simple things. He is, and one of my favorite books of his was what I'm going to call more recent, and that was Starlight. I thought it was really powerful, emotional stuff. I thought his big game was really good, and I was really excited leading up to it. I do like his Magic Order quite a bit, but I haven't read every single one. They should keep all the new X-Men in one title. Yeah, I agree. All right, let me do this. Don't go anywhere, even though it suggests that you should. That's right. It is almost the end of the show. I think I beat to death about why I don't think I really care too much about number ones, especially with the legacy numbering these days. But I also feel that there was a time when. Why don't you take this banner down? There's something powerful about taking over a book, and there's something in numbers. The numbers that you have grown accustomed to, possibly, especially if we're talking about Marvel comics, weren't quite the numbers what they really were. You know what I mean? So don't get too bent out of shape with any that are going on now, especially if they keep doing the legacy stuff. The only problem with the legacy stuff is that they charge more on the big books, the centennial issues, and it's not earned because they stopped it and now they started it. The most egregious one, though, I'm going to let you know right now, was when there was a they sent these things to comic stores for people to sign. They want you to agree to it. And it was when Wonder Woman was getting towards her, I think 500th, maybe 600th issue. they're like, oh, this is going to be her 600th issue. And it was like, no, it is not going to be her 600th issue. This is going to be her 200 and something issue of volume 2, which started with who? George Perez. George Perez by himself is worth a brand new number 1 anytime you want. But it's actually volume 3. And we all know this to be true because in between volume 1 and volume 3, there was a mini series by who? Trina Robbins and Kurt Busiek. And it was, but it was called like, Past Adventures of Wonder Woman and stuff like that. And not nobody's knocking down the doors for a Trina Robbins book. Trina Robbins Wonder Woman. R.I.P. Trina. But yeah. If you notice the names that are scrolling down below, these are people willing to pay money and receive next to nothing in return other than this show that they probably don't even watch. But I thank them all nonetheless. And if you are interested in something like this, you should check out our Patreon because you don't want to be like this guy.
My last name is Costanza. That's Italian. So you and I are kind of like countrymen. Huh? Paisanos!
650 you change.
Ah, yes. And I always take care of my paisanos. So here's a little something.
Antonio!
Sì!
Vieni qua! Questa miserabile patron...
Here's a little... Do you know what George does after that? You should see that Seinfeld episode. It's hilarious. I think even with the phone situation, it still would have been a pretty flawless episode. All right, let's see here. Daredevil 158, Captain America 247, Thor 337, just to name 3. Monumental issues that happened that weren't a brand new number 1. I just love stuff like that. And you're like, man, I don't even care about the first 150 Daredevil issues. I just want these right here. And it's like, I just want these Thor. Or maybe something that happens within these issues gets you to read the other ones. And that's pretty wonderful also. I'm looking forward to all the creativity Pepe Larraz has for comics in the future. Pepe Larraz, I was doing the order for future Spider-Man issues. And so after this JR Jr. one, he'll be back on the book. And how wonderful will that be? JR Jr. for a little side break. I think it's good for me still. I'm really loving his stuff. He's got the Black Cat story. Her and Peter hook up, even though he's got a girlfriend who hooks up with other guys. This is hookup culture. And this is, my dad said, why would you get stuck with one girl? Play the field. I don't know. Seems easier, I guess. But kids were different at one time. It's nothing wrong to hang out with other people. It just depends if you're safe or not. And that's the second PSA of the day. All right, we did an hour 30. See you guys tomorrow. If anybody is interested in anything, you can always contact us at events@Fantastic Comics. Let me know in the comments down below what you liked, what you didn't like, and if you're going to come on in and see us tomorrow. Until then, bye.
Lucy and Ramona cruising through the jungles of L.A. Hoping to promote a dream somewhere along the way. They're rolling through the streets, looking for a disco, passing up the treats from a kid named Cisco. trying to make connections with their blemish-free complexions. And just as fate would have it, ended up with Sunset Sam. Sam was selling watches from a suitcase on a TV tray. And Lucy and Ramona kept trying to figure out if he was gay. The three of them were standing, staring at each other, when the light behind their eyes blew each other's cover. The ancient code was branded, and each of them was handed a ticket to their kingdom, 'cause they saw their brother Sunset Sam. Sunset Sam. Lucy was from Compton, and she met Ramona at the zoo. Ramona was from Brooklyn, but she left when she was 22. Sam was a native of the Arizona desert, but he split when he was slated for some governmental make-work. Their differences subsided when the common bond was sighted. They were all from the same place that made the famous Sunset Sam.